mynews.studio.
Towering green walls in Colombia's Amazon have stopped falling. Deforestation has dropped by a third. But can this momentum last?
Today is June 9th, 2025. Colombia has reported a 33% drop in deforestation for the first quarter of this year compared to the same period in 2024. That's not just a statistical dip, it's one of the sharpest reductions we've seen globally. What exactly drove this turnaround?
The numbers are striking. Deforestation fell from over 40,000 hectares to just 27,000 hectares in the first months of 2025. And in the Amazon's national parks, like Tunigua, Chiribiquete, and La Macarena, the reduction was even steeper, 54%. The Amazon still accounts for nearly 70% of Colombia's forest loss, but some regions such as Meta, Caqueta, and Guaviare saw especially big improvements. Putumayo was the exception, with a slight increase.
So, how did Colombia pull this off at a time when tropical forests elsewhere are under growing pressure? According to Environment Minister Lena Estrada Anocazi, the answer is an integrated approach. That means not just government action, but also deep involvement from local and indigenous communities. Why did giving these groups more control matter so much?
It's about governance and trust. Colombia expanded the autonomy of indigenous territories, essentially letting these groups make decisions about their land. They set up indigenous councils with real authority. And through the Escazú Agreement, these communities gained guaranteed access to environmental information and a say in decisions. It's a recognition. Indigenous groups are the Amazon stewards. Their involvement isn't just symbolic, it's practical.
And there were incentives, right? The government formalized land rights for rural communities and small farmers. They offered payments for protecting forests, making conservation more attractive than clearing land. Plus, new policies. Deforestation became an environmental crime in 2021. There's a national monitoring system that sends out deforestation alerts, and enforcement on the ground got stronger.
Yes, but it's not all smooth sailing. Between October last year and March this year, Colombia still lost nearly 89,000 hectares of forest. Illegal mining, agriculture, and road building remain major drivers, especially in protected and indigenous areas. So, even with these gains, the threats haven't disappeared.
And there's the political dimension. Environmental protections can be vulnerable, especially during election cycles. If policies change or enforcement weakens, could these gains be reversed? Some regions already show that risk.
It's a real concern. Colombia's progress may inspire others, but it's fragile. Still, the lessons are clear. Integrating local and indigenous rights into policy works. So does strong political leadership, robust laws, and world-class monitoring. Are these steps replicable in other tropical countries? That's the question.
Let's look at the bigger picture. Colombia lost nearly 2 million hectares of primary forest between 2002 and 2023. Turning that around matters, not just for Colombia, but for the planet's climate. Their approach, community engagement, legal incentives, peace building, and tech-driven monitoring, could serve as a model for other countries facing similar pressures.
The story here is that determined leadership and inclusive strategies can bring real, measurable results. Colombia is not out of the woods yet, but the first signs are promising. Will the country be able to sustain this progress, especially as economic and political pressures mount?
That's the challenge ahead. Colombia shows it's possible to reverse high deforestation rates. What happens next will tell us whether these early victories can become long-term solutions.
Colombia's forests have won a reprieve, and the world is watching to see if this is the start of a lasting trend or just a brief pause.
Thank you for listening. This episode was powered by mynews.studio. Try now for free.